ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिर्बोधभूतं यथा निद्रया यस्साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्रचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यभिमः योगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ. So we are discussing this nature of aham as a very sakshi in this chapter. So this Nataka Deepa means it's a lamp in a theatre which is witness to all the events, and in whose light all the things happen, etc. And here all the things happen, but means all transactions happen. It involves basically this Triputi, triads, and one which is illuminator of all these Triputis, all the triads, in form of a knower, knowledge, and the known, or karta, karma, and karanam, etc. Or the experiencer, the object of experience, the very experience, etc. One who pervades all the three. One who pervades all experiences. I will be talking to that. One who pervades all the experiences and at the same time transcends all experiences is timeless. Is timeless thing. Anyway, and that only leads ultimately to that I am Brahman, etc. So anyway, so basically I am a changeless witness to all the things, in and through all the experiences, in and through all experiences, in as much as the water is in and through all the waves, and a particular name and form water of that wave resolves, still water remains. And therefore water remaining as transcendental, also pervading all the waves. Well, basically a particular wave is time bound. Water is not time bound. I could say water is timeless. Could you follow now? Yeah. One which is invariably present in all the waves, that is timeless water. What is variable is time bound, that is name and form called wave. Please understand, this example is the best example in order to understand the Sakshi. In all cognitions, the consciousness is there, you are there. Anyway, I will talk to you today. So, because it's a lot of, new stuff here, either creation is involved, etc. And then there is issues on the part of the jivas, and therefore it has to solve. I have to solve the issue, etc. And therefore, basically, and solving through the knowledge, etc. Anyway, so please understand, and this Sakshi is available all the time for your experience. You need not have to experience Sakshi. The experienced I right now, the cognized I, is a present ahankara. Like right now, I, understand this, I am a speaker, ahankara, available at this time, at this place, with a certain attributes of speaking, etc. So this is a which is time bound, place bound, limited in place, limited in time, with a limited attributes. That I is ahankara. But just before the class, let's say before half an hour, I was there. Yeah, I was there. Understand this now. I remember right now that I basically was a reader. I was a reader. Different time, naturally, half an hour before. Different place, maybe I may be sitting in an easy chair and reading. So that is also at a different time, different place, different attributes. Because reader, this is a speaker. Reader has a different attributes. Speaker has a different attributes. So that remembered I is also ahankara. Reader. Right? But this recognized I, in which I combined re stands for remembrance and other is a cognition, cognized I right now. How can you say, Swamiji, that this is a cognized? I know that I am a speaker now. Please understand this. I know I'm a speaker. So this recognized I, well, is neither present ahankara nor the past ahankara. When I say I was reading half an hour before, the same I is now speaking. That I has transcended that place, this place. Because while equating, you have to transcend. Because the I which was basically reading, it was a different time, different place, different attributes. And right now what is under cognition, the cognized I, the speaker I, at this time, this place with different attributes. When I recognize that that was the same I, the I who was reading is the I who is speaking. Please understand. So this basically it is a recognized I. In the recognized I am equating the past I, past ahankara, and the present ahankara. Equating the reader and the speaker. Reader can never be the speaker. Reader was in the past. The speaker is in present. Reader was in different place. Speaker is in different place. Reader was having a different attributes of reading, etc. Speaker, well, has a different attributes. So when basically I am equating that past ahankara, the reader, and the present ahankara called speaker, that I say the past ahankara is the present ahankara, the reader is, and the speaker are the same I. When I say I was only reading and now only the same I is now speaking, then the present ahankara and past ahankara are equated. When it is done, the present attributes and the past attributes are removed. Time, place, and the attributes are removed. If attributes are retained, then the equation cannot happen. The past, the reader is and the speaker are the same I. When I say, definitely the time is removed because past cannot be the present. The place cannot be the same because I was reading in the easy chair. Right now I'm speaking here from the study table. The place cannot be equated. Attributes are different. Attributes of reader are different. Attributes of the speaker are different. So when you make that it is the same I, you are keeping aside time, place, and attributes. That I, which is free from time, place, and attributes, is the Sakshi. It's Sakshi. Sakshis should not be experienced. Sakshi is available all the time. Sakshi you are experiencing all the time. You don't recognize it. That's the issue. So at this time of equating, both past and present attributes are removed. So same ahankara minus attributes is consciousness, nothing else. Reader, you remove the time, place and attributes from the reader. It is pure consciousness. There is no reader without consciousness. You cannot imagine reader without consciousness. You cannot think of reader without consciousness. You cannot, infer even reader without consciousness. Okay? Just as you cannot imagine, perceive or infer wave without you cannot perceive, imagine or infer wave without water. So the truth of ahankara is consciousness. Ahankara is totally non-separate. Totally, like the wave. Ahankara is just a name form. Well, which is definitely limited in time, place and attributes. So, when this Swamiji, when witness is available in Samadhi, where all the time you have to recognize that that is the real I. This ahankara is an incidental I. A reader is an incidental. Consciousness is nityopalabdhis sarupoham atma. Consciousness is ever available, ever present. Reader is not ever present. Reader was present. Speaker is present. Speaker will go away after some time. But the consciousness never goes away. This is in a waking state. Now, when you say, I slept, I dreamt, and I am awake, same I. In all the three states of experience now, same I. Earlier I gave you example of just a waking state, reader, dreamer, reader, speaker, etc. You can extend, other two, you can cover up, other two states of experiences. So I slept, I dreamt, and I am awake. That I is Sakshi. That I never wakes up partially or fully. That I never sleeps also. Yeah. So, drashtuhu drashtehe viparilopo na vidyate avinashitvat. The consciousness of this seer, ahankara, never ceases to be avinashitvat. It is never, it doesn't get destroyed, always present. So, this is how we have to understand. That's how consciousness is, the I, the Atma, has no eyelids. Okay, if I have eyelids, then definitely right now I'm awake, and then, I am partially awake, or I slept, etc. I am free from eyelids. Very, somebody don't use this kind of a thing. Oh, it is said in Mundaka Upanishad. Achakshushrotram. Achakshushrotram. Which is free from sense organs, free from even mind. All the states of experiences definitely involve something in consciousness. You have to imagine. I would not say addition. It's not an addition. It is because anything exists because of consciousness. The very ahankara exists. Ahankara only undergoes these states of experiences called as a waker, dreamer and deep sleeper. That is there due to mind. If ahankara itself is mithya, you cannot imagine ahankara without consciousness. Means the very mind also is non-separate from my mind. Is basically the very existence of the mind, the illumination of mind is due to consciousness. And therefore, basically, all the states of experiences are due to ahankara alone. Anyway, due to mind only. So, and so this Atma, which is Sakshi, now you can understand very well, that is consciousness, which is invariably present in all cognitions, either cognitions of the waking state. I used to say, earlier I used the word experiences, cognitions, now I say. So purposely I said cognitions, because any cognition there are only two things. One is a name and form, and which is variable, and other is consciousness, which is invariable. A pot cognition in a waking state right now, or let's say Swami cognition. In a Swami cognition, there is a name form and consciousness. That's called Swami cognition. And suppose you withdraw your eyes from me, and you are seeing something in your on your table where you are sitting, on the well, then you have suppose clip cognition. So now instead of a Swami, another name and form, clip plus consciousness, that is clip cognition. So like in a waking state, you have a number of cognitions, and one cognition looks different from the other cognition, not because the consciousness is different. It is different due to the names and forms which are cognized, which is non-separate from the consciousness. You cannot establish an existence of any name and form without consciousness. Anyway, and therefore, in all cognitions, what is invariably present, either in a waking or dream cognitions, well, all this is nothing but consciousness. And in deep sleep also, well, I have an experience of I'm having an experience of a experience of no particular experience of objects. That experience I have. So deep sleeper. Because everything becomes, I would not say things have destroyed. People say, well, I think the world is destroyed. Nothing is destroyed. It's all unmanifest. Where is destruction? There is nothing destruction. Things become unmanifest. That's it. They are all there in unmanifest state. Only it is covered with a black blanket. Under the blanket, things are there. We know. Sometimes we cover because we don't like. We know that it is all junk there. And so, as Swami is visiting, we cover the junk, because you won't like with the junk lying here in the room. Anyway, so it's under cover. That's it. It's unmanifest. And partial, removal is all dream. Totally, you remove the blanket, fully awake. So, that is a waking state. Anyway, my point is ultimately a deep sleeper has an experience. Please understand, deep sleeper has an experience of no particular experience of objects. That's what since that experience is there, that only leads to the memory. Memory has a basis in experience. Anubhava janya smriti. And therefore, but why you are saying regarding that? Because a anubhava is there, experience is there, has a basis, the truth in consciousness. No experience is away from consciousness. Okay? And therefore, ultimately in all the three states, what is invariable is consciousness. If it remains invariable, then that consciousness, which is witness consciousness, is timeless. Is timeless. Ahankara is time bound. Even the reader was time bound. Let's say waker was a time bound. Waker gone. Now dreamer. Time bound. Deep sleeper. Time bound. But the consciousness, which is the truth of all the three states, in fact, is. But then why, Swamiji, in a state, in a waking state, why only waker is not there? Waking objects are also there, and a very waking experience is there. But this Sakshi, basically, ultimately, you are going to prove it as a Brahman. And in that case, even every other thing also will be covered. But anyway, so my point is, So this consciousness, the Atma, which is witness, is not subject to time. If it is not subject to time, well, is it subject to special limitation or not? That's a question. And if you prove it has no special limitation, means space-time cannot limit it. So that same Sakshi becomes Brahman. You recognize now Sakshi is not just Sakshi here. You recognize it as a Brahman. Please understand this. Anyway, so anything specially limited, this is a question. That is it subject? Swamiji, you are going in different direction. We have to see something else. Yeah, but let us understand this first in the beginning itself. Vidyaranya is going to definitely develop the topic in his own way, but we are understanding in a few minutes. I am Brahman. I am the Sakshi, which is situated with the Brahman, is very easy to understand, not difficult. So basically, this Sakshi, which is invariably present in all cognitions, and all cognitions, well, definitely has a certain name and form. So the images of certain images, they are having a name and form. That name and form keep going away. The consciousness is invariably, consciousness is very much present, exactly like wave water. Please understand, wave water. The entire cognition is consciousness. No name and form separate from the consciousness. A wave name and form is not separate from the water. So that name and form wave resolves, consciousness remains. Another name and form, well, again it becomes a cognition. That also resolves. Another name and form, well, again that goes away. Anyway, ultimately consciousness is something which is invariably present in all cognitions, in both the states of on both the states of experiences, and in third state as a experience, also experience is there. In as no particular experience of objects, that experience is there. That's how we call deep sleep also is a state of experience. Kindly understand. Anyway, so this which is present invariably in all the three states definitely is not time bound. So it is timeless. Okay. And then we are discussing, is it subject to special limitation or not? Anything which is specially limited must have a form of some kind. Some kind. Even if it has no visible form, it still exists only in a given place. I am giving you the example of a air. So which is only air, you know very well. We cannot say it has certain visible form. But air in atmosphere right now, there is air which exists in space and limited in space. Even though it has no visible form, yet, well, it definitely exists in this atmosphere, in this space here around, because it's not all pervasive like space. Though it has no particular, that's how it moves. The air moves freely in space. That shows air is not all pervasive. And therefore space is all pervasive in which it exists. It is accommodated. So air, even though it has no visible form, yet it is not all pervasive. We should know that. And definitely in our model of creation, we say air also has a form because it has a certain constituents and it occupies a certain place. And so there is a place where it is not. That's how we create a vacuum. And so within atmosphere, we sometimes create a vacuum by removing the air. And beyond the atmosphere, there is no air, of course. So we have to understand what we mean by this form. So anything which is limited in space has a form. Even though air, etc., well, we say visibly there is no form, but that occupies a given space, that occupies a given place in space has a form. That's it. that occupies a given place in a space has a form. That's our definition. Need not be form means very tangible with a length and breadth and etc. very visible. No, need not be. Anyway, so this is, whatever exists in space has a form. What is the under discussion? Is the consciousness is specially limited or not? Okay. Now second thing. Does space have a special limitation? Does the space has a special limitation? No, it doesn't. Space is not in a particular place. Space being space is not specially limited, naturally. So, that space is not specially limited. Okay. Is consciousness specially limited or not? If consciousness is specially limited, then space will become the basis for consciousness. Right? If because consciousness is limited in space, means the space is the basis. Anyway, and consciousness would necessarily become an object. What exists in space is object, and it would also become variable. Whatever exists in space is object, and object is always variable. Well, but consciousness definitely is invariable, we have seen, and therefore, well, definitely consciousness is not specially limited. In fact, I am conscious of the time, I am conscious of the space, so there is space consciousness. Like that, likewise, there is a time consciousness, and even when, further, if time space consciousness is there, consciousness is of course there. Time space consciousness is not there, yet consciousness is there. So both time and space disappear in deep sleep state. So there is no space concept, time concept, and in the deep sleep state, at the same time, you, the consciousness, are very much there in deep sleep state. And therefore, this particular method by which we understand the reality, that method is method of a co-presence and absence of a thing, called Anvaya Vyatireka. So, by which we arrive at the reality. The consciousness is something which is not limited in time, not limited in space. Means what? Consciousness is specially limitless. That specially limitless consciousness is also free from the limitation of time, and that is free from attributes, because it's not an object. If it is an object, it must have certain attributes. That's how you objectify. Any object you are objectifying, because you definitely understand, experience certain attributes of the object. And therefore, consciousness is something, Sakshi, understand, which is invariably present in all cognitions, which is invariably there. That witness consciousness, Atma, so Sakshi, is Brahman. This is how it is understood. Anyway, and you can understand very well. And in here, the reality is consciousness. Without consciousness, nothing is proven. Like between clay and pot, etc. We have two words, etc. for two different things. But definitely, you can understand what is more real is a clay. I would not say pot is not real. People misunderstand. Pot is less real. Clay is more real. Why less real you are saying? Because you experience, I experience, the whole world experience the pot. I would not say pot is non-existent. A non-existent thing cannot become useful. Pot is useful to the entire humanity. Just because it proves its utility therefore it is real. That's a wrong equation. A form has a certain utility. The very substance which assumes a form may not have the same utility. Yeah. And therefore, what is less real? They are not synonyms. Why you are discussing? Because ultimately that witness consciousness which is Brahman is one non-dual. Means any other thing which you experience is mithya. The truth of everything is one non-dual Brahman. That's for that purpose I am saying that. So anyway, so mithya, basically. They are not synonyms. Pot and clay are not synonyms also. Two words can be considered synonym. Well, they are indicating to one thing. And well, if they both the words indicating one thing, generally it is a synonym. They are synonyms. But it is not. Here it is not. Because pot need not be a clay. Like word aqua and water, two words you use for one and the same thing. Then wherever there is aqua, there is water. Wherever there is water, there is aqua. Wherever there is a pot, there is a clay. Wherever there is a clay, there is pot. Need not be. Need not be. Wherever there is pot, there can be steel. There can be golden pot also, gold. Wherever there is clay, well, there is a clay. Need not be pot. So they are not synonyms. Even though both words you use for the one and the same thing, yet they are not synonyms. And if they are not synonyms, both do not have a same reality. Aqua and water has the same reality. Yeah. They are not equal. They are not having same degree of reality. Well, definitely. Means the words which denote a given thing does not enjoy the same degree of reality. I should modify that, not words. The meaning of the word may not enjoy the same degree of reality. Yeah. And therefore, pot is less real, because as you break it, the word pot now you won't use it further. But I continue to use clay. When the pot was there, I said clay. Now pot is broken, I say clay. Therefore, well, the word clay, the meaning of the word clay enjoys more reality. Yeah, that is called Satyam. And pot, etc., form, which is non-separate from the clay. In fact, the clay alone has assumed one more other shape called form, a particular form, for which we use the word pot. Same way, you cannot prove existence of anything in this world without consciousness. And well, and therefore everything exists in consciousness, everything shines in consciousness ultimately. And therefore consciousness, well, is the reality of everything, every name and form. Like the water is reality for every name and form, every wave, same way. And so wave is non-separate from the water. There are now thousands of names and forms. Well, so far as from the standpoint of the various names and forms, there is a duality. And that is what we experience also. Everyone sitting on the shore of the ocean experience thousands of waves, experience a duality. But when they examine, analyze every form, name and form, they understand one non-dual water. That's how it is. And therefore, same way all names and forms are non-separate from consciousness. Consciousness alone is the reality of everything, of waking world, dream world, etc. Anyway, so, and that is that consciousness which is non-dual, Brahman, whole, is I. That is how we understand. Anyway, now, and so here in the first verse, there has been said same thing. Paramatma Advaya Ananda Purnaha Purvam Swamayaya Swayameva Jagat Bhutva Pravishad Jiva Rupataha. Same Paramatma Brahman created everything, projected everything through his Maya, through the creative power, projected everything, because Maya has a Vikshepa Shakti, and through that, well, Avarana etc. will not be there for with this Maya Upadhi. Brahman, Ishvara doesn't have that Avarana because it's a Vishuddha Sattva, so he just projected, and the Avarana Shakti of the Maya is ultimately for the jivas who were projected. Actually, Vikshepa means throwing out. So Ishvara, through his creative power with the Maya Upadhi, of course Brahman with the Maya Upadhi, has projected everything. Created means here it is projected. There is a creative power, etc. And well, ultimately, um, uh, uh, you know, through the Avarana, well, definitely, the Jiva who were created, they were not able to appreciate what? That everything is just Brahman. It's all manifestation of one Brahman, the Jagat, and I, the Jiva also, is this Jagat is Brahman, not able to appreciate. I am not Jiva, but I am really Brahman alone. That also is not appreciated. And Swamaya means the Maya which is non-separate from the Brahman, the creative power. No power can be away from the powerful. Power is always in the powerful. The Shakti, well, this creative power is non-separate from the Brahman. That creative power alone manifest, which is we can call it unmanifest also. So, like the Bija Shakti, the power in the seed is nothing but that projecting of that tree, manifesting that tree from the unmanifest. The unmanifest tree was there, that alone became manifest. Well, there must be a power. Unmanifest, well, is thrown, projected, created. Unmanifest became manifest. Well, that is power. That's called Maya. Swamaya, one's own Maya. Maya is not separate from him. So anyway, this is how. So Maya, Swayameva Jagat Bhutva. He himself became, I told you last time everything. He is the maker. He alone is the material through this Maya. Upadanam, and also the efficient cause, etc. Pravishat Jiva Rupatah. Jiva Rupatah, Trutiyarthe Tasi, it's a Thambute, Jiva Rupena. He alone entered as Jiva. Because ultimately, due to Avarana, even though he manifests actually in the mind, well, but people would not understand due to Avarana of this Maya. And so they themselves take as a Ahankara. Same Brahman takes himself as a Jiva, Drashta, Shrota, Manta, etc. And well, that also Pramata. When it is exposed to the teaching, the Shastra says you are not Pramata, you are not Ahankara, you are Sakshi, which is nothing but Brahman, you are Brahman. Therefore, that is how he understands. Anyway, so this is the first verse, and now further the creation means he entered into every body as a Jiva, etc. And then now further creation, etc. has been told in the second verse. Vishnavadyuttama deheshu pravishto devata bhavat martyadyadhama deheshu sthito bhajati devatam. So infinite number of the Sukshma Shariras are created. We don't say infinite number of Karana Shariras are created naturally. Well, so because its Karana Shariras are basically they are Anadi, and so definitely Anirvachya, Anadi, Avidya Rupam, etc. etc. Sharira Dvayasya Karana Matram and Sat Swarupa Ajnanam, etc. Nirvikalpaka Rupam, Karana Shariram, etc. There's been definition. So Anadi Avidya Rupam. Karana Shariras are Anadi basically. So in Pralaya also, there in unmanifest condition was there, dormant, and in a dormant condition they are there. And then at the time of a creation, well, definitely due to the karmas which are present in in this Karana Sharira, part of it, well, manifest and ready to fructify, potentially which was there in the Karana Sharira at the time of creation, well, manifest, give rise to Sukshma Sharira, Sthula Sharira, etc. etc. That's how the jivas are thrown out, as though jivas which were dormant, jivas which were unmanifest, jivas which were there identifying with the Karana Sharira, all Chidabhasas, well, ultimately they are thrown out at the time of creation, Vikshepa Shakti. So this Maya's Vikshepa Shakti, first all Panchamahabhutas, etc. definitely. Sthula Sukshma Panchamahabhutas, and then Sukshma Sharira, Karana, Sthula Sharira also. Anyway, so this is how creation takes place. But what about first creation? Well, there is no first creation. Creation is anadi, it's a cyclic, because it was there unmanifest. In unmanifest conditions, well, there were all Karana Shariras were already there, karmas were already there, vasanas were already there, all Sanchita, etc. So then if they are there, karmas, etc. were there, then how the karmas were there without the previous cycle of creation? They must have done the same jivas when they were there. I mean, in a creation, they were having a Sukshma Sharira, etc. And here, especially Manusha, karmas means. They were having a Manusha Sharira, etc. The creation must have been there. That's how only, well, in a pralaya, well, in an unmanifest state, well, if still the karmas are there, the creation must have been there before. And then in that creation, how did they got the bodies? Well, because the karmas have been done in the previous cycle of creation. Well, must have been, then those, to do the karmas, they must have a human bodies, etc. And definitely other creation also must have been there. And so, well, that creation must have been there. Where will you reach? There is no first creation. It's all cyclic. And so, and at the time of any creation, well, karmas are there. If karmas are not there, how Bhagavan is going to create? Bhagavan is a samanya karanam for the creation. Karmas of the jivas are vishesh karanam. He has to create the world. He has to create the bodies, sthula, sukshma, etc. as per their karma, and the interaction is going to generate sukha, dukkha, etc. And that's how the prarabdha also gets fructified. Anyway, and of course, if you have a human body, then further karmas, etc. is done. So both are required ultimately. Samanya Karanam, Ishvara also is required, and jivas are also required. I mean, jivas, karmas are also required. That's how creation takes place. It's a joint venture. The Srishti is a joint venture. Even though Ishvara is a Sarvashakti, well, ultimately he cannot create the world without this Vishesha Karanam called karmas of the jiva. And well, karmas are infinite and different karmas, and therefore, well, that's how the Sukshma Shariras the jiva get are not uniform. And therefore, Sukshma Shariras are not uniform. The consciousness manifest in these Sukshma Shariras, the reflections, etc., Chidabhas are also not uniform. They are all definitely, it's basically, all reflections are based on these mediums. So depending upon Sukshma Sharira, reflections are grosser or finer, brighter, duller, etc. So there is a gradation in Chidabhasa, and means jivas are also having a gradation. Infinite jivas of various grades are there, and as the creation comes. And well, here it has been said, Vishnavadi Uttamadeshu Pravishtaha Devata Bhavat. Same Ishvara, right, which is entered into a jiva, but then jivas are of now two different types. Two. Here we consider two. So, all devatas, etc., came under Utkrishta, because definitely they have an exalted body. The exalted body, the Chidabhasa, the jiva also are exalted. And all human beings, animals, etc., are Nikrishta jiva, inferiors. So, Vishnavadi Uttama Deshu Pravishtaha, same Paramatma. That we have to continue. Same Paramatma entered into different bodies. So, as a Chidabhasa, as a jiva, well, And now you see the varieties in the jivas due to difference in the bodies. That has a basis in the karmas. So having entered into the superior Sukshma Sharira, etc., like Vishnu, Brahma, Rudra, Indra, etc., Varuna, they become, well, same Paramatma now with a different Chidabhasas, in a form of different jivas, become Devatas. So, Uttama Deheshu, in the Uttama Deha, in those reflecting mediums which are superior, Devata Bhavat. So, the same Paramatma has taken avatara, literally avataranam. He has descended now as a Devata. That's how even Devatas also can be taught, and they were taught by Prajapati. They understood or not, that's a different thing. But, and in Keropanishad, Devatas were taught. Yeah, in the form of Yaksha, he appeared there. Same Brahman appeared. Nobody recognized. That's how. It's a question of recognition only. That's what I said. We feel it's a question of experiencing. No experience is possible without consciousness. Where is the question of experiencing consciousness? To experience consciousness, are you going to bring another consciousness? There is only one thing which need not be experienced, and that is consciousness, because it is self-evident and self-existing automatically. What is self-evident is self-existing. What is self-existing must be self-evident. Anyway, which exists on its own, which is evident on its own. It doesn't require an evidence or any proof of anything. If any means of knowledge, proof are required to illumine consciousness, consciousness is not consciousness, it is inert. In fact, the very means of knowledge which illumines the world definitely borrow consciousness from the same Atma. They become conscious and illumine the world. They are all inert, made up of subtle elements, all indriyas, etc. Anyway, and therefore, same Paramatma has now descended as a Devatas. He entered into the subtle bodies, which are, the mediums are very, very superior. So now Chidabhasa also appears superior, naturally. And therefore, basically Chidabhasa is, and definitely it is not separate from that all-pervading consciousness. And therefore, same Ishvara, Paramatma, the Brahman. There is nothing other than Brahman. So he only is in the form of Akasha, Vayu, everything. He is in the form of Annamaya. He is in the form of, I told you day before yesterday. So this is all show going on. Anyway, and then, he entered also Martyadi Adhama Deheshu. Also, he entered into this in the bodies, in the subtle bodies of the, naturally, subtle body of a human being is different than the subtle body of a frog, than the subtle body of an ant, definitely. Even though the subtle body, once it is created at the time of creation, doesn't get destroyed till the end of the creation, but definitely undergoes a change depending upon the gross body. Yeah. And that's how I have a different type of subtle body. There is a free will. I am able to speak. Now this subtle body, suppose this body I live and enter into a frog body. I get a frog body because whole day I and therefore I enter into a frog. I am not able to exercise the free will. I am not able to speak like this. Otherwise, in a frog, I will collect. There are other frogs I invite and say, well, I am going to give a class on Bhagavad Gita. No, it is not possible. Definitely, depending upon the gross body, the subtle body undergoes a change, naturally. So, Martyadi Adhama Deheshu Sthito Bhavati Devatam. Sthito Bhajati Devatam. I'm sorry. So he entered into the human being, animals, plants, and when he entered into the human beings, that same Parameshwara, Brahman, as a jiva entered into the human being, Devatam Bhajati. So he, Devata Abhavat, he entered into the superior bodies as a jiva and became Devata. He entered into the human being and other inferior yonis, and he started, worshipping the devatas. So the worshipper and worshipped both are ultimately is one consciousness, one Brahman. One and the same, like one and the same actor takes a role of Ishvara and devotee. Now we can say, because there are Ramayana serial and this serial, and and something related to Shiva Purana, they make somebody as a Shiva and all that. So one actor becomes a Ishvara, when the same actor becomes a devotee. So Devatam Bhajati becomes Devata also, same. Wherever conscious being is involved, you remove the Upadhi, you find the same consciousness. Same. Conscious being means Ishvara. That is else. That is his nature. And therefore, other than that, a difference is, you find its difference in a Upadhi, Anatma, etc. Which is mithya, of course. And therefore, the differences are mithya. If you find a difference is based on the Upadhis, bodies, etc., but the bodies itself are mithya, the differences are also mithya. Dvaitam is mithya. It's one consciousness. Well, becomes the world, bodies also enter into the body as a jiva. One non-dual consciousness. One and the same non-dual whole water assumes varieties of the forms of a waves. People give various names for the waves. I don't know much, but they say breaker and these and that, and they give varieties of the names. Yeah, one and the same, non-dual, whole. Yeah, no, not even a. There is no hole in the whole. Okay, there is no hole in the whole. Yeah. If anything is away from the whole, well, there is a hole. Anything is away from the whole, then there is a hole in the whole. Nothing is away. What is away in the ocean? Nothing is away. All the waves, etc. Names and forms. I like that example. You may, if you can find some other example, you can use that for your own understanding. I take it that because I don't find anything other than that. That's it. And all the names and forms, all waves are non-separate also. They are constantly created and they die also. They go away. But the water, which is invariable, which remains in all, it remains without transcending all and remains there. So anyway, so now Srishti is over. Devatas have come, and there are other jivas who worship Devatas. Worshipper and worshipped both have come. And now definitely Ramayana Mahabharata starts. So problem of samsara begins now. So for third, Aneka janma bhajanat swavicharam chikirshati vicharena vinashtayam mayayam shishyate swayam. So how long this puja continues? Aneka janma bhajanat. How long this the same Paramatma who has become a Manushya, Jiva, worships the other Devatas, that is the same Parameshwara alone. How long will this puja continues? Aneka janma bhajanat, not one janma. Aneka janma samsiddha tatoyati paramgatim. And therefore, having done this Ishvara Pujanam, well, so much. That's how Puja Swami used to always tell that, this understanding this equation doesn't take much time. It's already there. You have to drop what you are not. That's it. Not that you have to experience something new. You are that. But because of some superimposition of what you are not, certain misunderstanding, error, adhyasa, due to ignorance, well, as you understand this, as you're exposed to the teaching, and as you understand it, you start dropping. Oh, I'm not this. I'm not this. But then what I am, Swamiji? Well, once you drop, you will not come back to ask who you are. You will say you are just self-effulgent consciousness, nothing else, which has no boundary. It has no boundary. Yeah, you will say that. Because being self-evident, self-effulgent, you need not have to do some special effort to know it. You are that. But there is a misconception regarding the self. And therefore, ultimately, it doesn't take much time. But to understand this equation, you need a certain infrastructure. Well, that preparedness requires time. So this bhajanam, aneka janma bhajanat, etc. Well, having done this bhajanam in several, means Ishwar Pujanam through Karma Yoga, Upasana, well, definitely. Because the separation between you and your goal, that is Ishvara or Brahman, there is no physical separation. There is no space-wise, separation. There is no time-wise separation. There is separation in terms of ignorance. And ignorance born certain errors. That's it. And therefore, so basically, you take care of your mind, make it free from certain projections, because you are going to understand reality. So you have to prepare the mind for understanding reality. Likes and dislikes are basically has no reality. You know very well. No likes and dislikes you can prove as a real. You have to simply say, because certain thing you like it because you like it. What will you say? I like it because I like it, because I see certain things there. That's true. But then other person sees some contrary attributes in the same thing. And you cannot say they are not there. And therefore, ultimately, it's a simply projection. Certain thing is good, certain thing is bad. And if it is good for you throughout the life, well, it has certain reality, okay. But you keep changing also. Your definition, your opinions about the world keep changing. What is good today, tomorrow you say, well, it is bad. People change. Right away they change. That shows it's simply projection. So Vedanta prepares you for understanding reality. Understand. Ultimately, varieties of experiences are there. The reality behind the experience is not understood. What is experienced is taken as a real. And that is not the case in the world. That's not the case. What you experience is real. That's not the case. Science has proved it. You have to analyze the experience through the science. Then you understand the reality is just contrary. Contrary. Several examples are there from sunrise onwards, many things. Anyway, everything. In fact, science is in the process. I get astonished. More you in touch with the science, you find now that you think the world in one way. Because I experienced that way. Science says, no, it is not. It is on the contrary, quite different. Amazing. And therefore, if you have this likes and dislikes, etc., then you remain in your own world. That is called Jiva Srushti. You remain in your own world. Even though it's a one Ishvara Srushti, no. To understand Ishvara, well, ultimately, you should have an orientation, preparedness ultimately. And so you have to come out of this Jiva Srushti. Karma Yoga helps. And even likes and dislikes have gone, and then still mind wanders. Moves from one object to the other, to the other, to the other, to the other. It has a certain rhyme. One thought and another thought has some connection. And it just goes. It doesn't take your permission. Only when it strikes somewhere and results into an anger, then you understand. Oh, all this involuntary thinking, well, in which the mind basically, runs into the channels, runs, you without your permission, invariably leads to reaction, anger, jealousy, everything. Ultimately, so even though you do not have, generally when likes and dislikes are there, mind only lends upon the objects of likes or dislikes. But if they are not there yet, mind still doesn't have a abiding capacity. So then upasanam, meditations are provided by the same Veda. May not do Vedic meditations, but then there are certain other meditations, simple meditations are there which can help you to get a focusing capacity. That's also prepared us. And so all this is well definitely ultimately prepare you for understanding the reality of your own experiences. That is how Mundaka Upanishad said, Parikshalokan karmachitan brahmano nirvedamayat. Tametam vedanu vachanena brahmanaha vividishanti yagnena danena tapasa anashakena. So basically yajna. Yajna means this basically doing something what is to be done in a given situation. Danam and tapas, certain self-denial, deliberate self-denial, while certain disciplines ultimately which prepare you, and those things will make you ultimately gradually you remain bhakta, initially bhakta of Ishvara. Karma yoga also is a bhakti, upasana definitely bhakti. You relate to Ishvara mentally, upasana. You relate to Ishvara through karma, offering your karmas, etc. Bhakti. Anyway, of course, lastly it is a jnanam only. So artho artharthi jignasu jnani cha bharatarshana. So ultimately, you are in a problem and you went to Ishvara, take his surrender and well solve my problem. Ultimately, you become bhakta. And though Bhagavan said Jnani also is a bhakta, you become one with me. And Vivek Chudamani very beautifully said, Moksha Karana Samagryam Bhaktireva Gariyasi. Well, in varieties of the means for gaining moksha, well, ultimately, finally, the direct means of gaining moksha is jnanam. Therefore, Vidyaranya says, Swavicharam chikirshati. Aneka janma bhajanat. After several janmas, well, he prepares himself, and then Swavicharam chikirshati. Chikirshati means he desires, he is interested in. What? Swavicharam, he is interested in self-inquiry, and definitely leads to Shravanam. Vicharam ultimately analysis of the Shastra and everything. So Shravanam, etc. He gets interested in Shravanam, etc. And Vicharena Vinashtayam, well, Mayayam, Vicharena Vinashtayam. And through Vichara, Mayayam Vinashtayam. When the Maya is gone, Swayam Shishyati. Maya means the Avarana Shakti. Avarana Shakti of the Maya alone is called Ajnana. When that goes, well, what remains is the Vikshepa Shakti of the Maya. The creation, objective creation remains. But you became free from, from the I sense. I am a body, I am a mind, I am a senses. And that has gone. That has gone. So you say, I am same Brahman, which is the cause of the world. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.